feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride no wave.
Oh, I posted it. All right, we're going to react to this. So, let me say this to y'all, and we'll kind of kick it off by doing this, all right? First of all, shout out to my sister Nadeska, and that bum Ebro is still surviving with the Apple Music stimulus package. Obviously, if you don't know, Apple Music is the official broadcaster of Versus. They have a contract in place. Versus is now owned by Network, a company that bought Complex, so they're all kind of intermingled in business. So what happens is that they get people for the Versus, and then they kick them over to Apple Music, that Apple Music could get the exclusive interviews. So that's kind of part of the deal. But I do want to remind y'all, never fair. Ebro is still catching the L, losing as per usual, and Apple Music is just, it's the buoy that's just trying to keep him remotely near the surface. So they did an interview with Rick Ross and French Montana as per contracted, because they're going to do Versus. You got to do the interview with Apple Music. And this interview, Ross, actually, let me just play the whole thing. I don't like do clips. When I'm on stream, I don't like clips. If I was like cooking up a video, I would do clips. Apple Music. But when I'm actually on stream, I do not like to do clips. I want to play 3 minutes. This is my thing. And for anybody who's into like journalism or whatever, I've seen myself being judged so unfairly. And remember, this is a lifetime. I've told you, like, my life is my content. Like, you know, whenever the time is up, please mention what I've done for my work, because my life is my work. And I'm proud to say that. Unlike any of these other niggas, I don't clock in and be like, oh, let me go home to the fam. This is my life every day, for sickness or for health, every day. When I'm old and withered up, they're going to have to grab the mic out of my hand. Pause. That was a crazy thing, but that's how I look at things, right? Anyway, I've learned over time, I hate when people play clips. Clips are usually the most salacious. It's meant to go viral. So when I'm on stream, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt that I wish they gave me. When I see a popular clip and I'm on stream, and this is for y'all content creators, I go to the original content, right? I play about 2 minutes before, and I try to play 2 minutes after. That usually adds context, because sometimes somebody might be in the middle of a thought and they say something that's clippable. Everybody runs with the clips, and everybody crucifies, or they call this person whatever off of the clip without realizing there was some context there. So I do it for everybody, and I'm about to do it for, obviously, Rick Ross and French Montana, but I'm doing it on our Ebro show. Let's see. I'm going to search transcript. Where does it say? All right, here. Okay, perfect. Here it is. Now, I probably even, which I usually would not encourage, this whole interview probably should be watched, because I think what's happening with Rick Ross, everybody keeps asking him like, yo, so what's your relationship with Drake? And it has to suck a bit for Ross right now, because everybody keeps kind of like, they're no matter what he's talking about, they bring it back to Drake. Hey, are you playing Drake songs at the Verses? Hey, what's the decision of not playing Drake songs at the Verses was bigger than any moment at the Verses. We got to think about these things, people. So Rick Ross decides, I'm not going to play Drake vocals. That was the most circulated headline. And by the way, they claim Drake got bots. Well, how come every time he's mentioned when he's not even in, the Verses? And by the way, I'm waiting for Apple Music to drop the full numbers on them. Apple Music or whatever, because, again, I have a good relationship with Complex. I know they own Versus now. But I call a spade. Those numbers were not good. I tabulated on social media. Y'all did 100,000 concurrent. Live concurrent viewers, 100,000. Now, Apple Music also streams it, but, I'm not going to fall for the Netflix banana in the tailpipe thing. I just don't think that more people went to their Apple Music app to watch Versus than they did on Instagram, YouTube, and other places that are kind of like more normal. But okay, I'm pretty sure Apple Music is going to come with some astronomical numbers saying, yeah, we had 100K on Instagram and YouTube, but we had like 2 million people on Apple Music. Okay, we'll believe it. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. The numbers we want to do a numbers check. And Chartdemics will be on top of that. So Chartdemics will give a complete analysis of what that is. But anyway, without further ado, back to what I was saying with Ross. Ross is constantly being asked and bombarded with these questions. He did an interview with Complex where they basically asked him, hey, listen, are you gonna play Drake verse? When y'all gonna get back together? We miss y'all collabs. And it's kind of turned into like a really sad like existence, if you ask me, because Ross has an album coming out. He announced it's coming out. But every time people get in an interview with him, they're still rehashing a two-year-old issue with Ross and Drake. Now, this is another thing we gotta clarify. Now, I haven't necessarily talked to Drake about this. I probably will at some point. Maybe I could get some clarification from his perspective. It didn't, like, Ross and these guys are acting like they're like super close friends. From what I've heard, Ross and Drake, they're always cool. It's like a big homie, like that type of friendship, like respect there. They made great music, but they weren't like friends. They weren't like, yo, this is my day one. Like they weren't like Gunna and Young Thug, right? It wasn't that. So I could see why Rick Ross is probably a little bit frustrated, because a business decision, probably in his mind, or him just saying, I don't want to be cool with Drake anymore, and I dissed him. 2 years later, every interview he goes in, people still are wondering about that relationship like they were best friends. They never were best friends. So when people are like enticing him or like, you know, encouraging, yo, y'all need to get back together. Now, granted, most of it is because of music. Yo, y'all need to get back together. Y'all need to do this. Y'all need to do that. Bruv, the guy wasn't best friends with Drake. And I think it's been getting a little bit, probably getting to him like, yo, they keep asking about this fuck nigga. So anyway, I'm pretty sure if you watch this interview, they probably bring up Drake a few more times. And in the midst of it, we see Ross give an elaborate answer, but he gives an answer and he aims it at Drake. I'm going to play it without further ado. Let's go.
Nigga, shine. I don't want to see you lose.
Okay, this is in the middle. So let me go back 2 minutes.
Hold on, 1 second.
I don't care what happens. Yes, go ahead, French.
Big time.
My brother Max B gotta go.
Hey, yo, give it up, bigger man. Give it up, bigger man.
Max B. I love Max B.
Does Max B have like a curfew or something like that, like supervised release? Yo, Max B, I seen you at the Versus, Max B. You were soaking up all the camera time and you were getting every little ad-lib in, and you weren't annoying, by the way. I like that. But shit, you've been locked up for a long time. Man, enjoy your moment in the sun. You ain't got nowhere better to be than be here with French and Ross, getting a part of their, like, you know, moment.
This what I want to say right before Max B go. We not switching the vibe, but this what I want to let niggas know. You could be a nigga, you could be somebody that's facing 75 years, 100 years, whatever it is, don't you ever give up. Max B is an example.
We love you, boy.
Of somebody that the streets or the game felt they counted out. And my brother here, he's shining. God is great, my brother.
Yeah. Hey, Max, I ain't gonna lie. Can I get that Panama Jack hat? That hat.
He went to Puerto Rico and got that hat.
Don't give it to him, Max. Hold on to it, Max. That bitch famous.
He getting ready for summertime New York City with that joint.
Okay, again, I'm just playing this just to give some context. I think that is Karen Civil in the back with that beanie on, that little orange beanie, huh?
Yeah. Now, Ross, the internet will likely try to make something of you being like, hey, play that joint without the Drake vocals. I want y'all to sing along.
Without Little Man.
Right? They gonna make some of it, but you constantly play your records that you collab with Drake on, and you encourage the fans to sing. Facts. So that's not trying to be messy. That's you trying to put on a show.
Let me tell you some shit. Me being a boss, you gotta understand. This French Montana right here, this is my brother. Drake. If you listening to this, homie,
let's hear it.
Listen to me.
I'm gonna send it to him.
My nigga, shine. I don't want to see you lose. No real nigga want to see you lose. That ain't what niggas about. This culture, this game, this rap shit, this ain't what it's about. I don't want to see you lose. Real niggas just want to see real niggas shine together. Real niggas come up together. You understand? When I was the number one nigga in the rap game, I showed niggas love. When French was on fire, he showed niggas love. When other niggas
Hold
get
on
their
now.
turn.
We still on fire?
No. Don't get it fucked up.
I'm gonna tell you that I want to play the whole thing, then comment, but I can't hold my tongue. Pause. I'll say this. Remember, I told you that. Remember, I told you I did a gambling stream. It was a kick only gambling stream, and I said, man, I was playing some really good slaps by Drake and Ross, and I was like, man, these guys have really created history, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make a public plea. I want these guys to get back together. We got to also think about reconciliation. We're going into Iceman. I think Drake should get off his shit on anybody and everybody he wants to, but we got to think about the long-term strategy of what Drake probably should do and who could probably come back to maybe not be that close. Like, all the fake kicking and shit is over. No more we're all in the club popping Bel Air. It's not happening. However, if it's a song that makes sense, like Lemon Pepper Freestyle, I can't see anybody but Drake and Ross doing that. When it comes to songs like, especially Gold Roses, I love that song. That's a Grammy-nominated song. I can't see another rapper in the current landscape of things that Drake could make that song with and be a collab other than Rose. They're both artists that kind of shine over these smooth type beats, these kind of luxurious type of melodies, and that's where I see the synergy with them. I miss that type of music. I want them to get back together musically. Now, I said I was going to make that public plea, and this was before I even saw that this clip even came out, and I see a lot of people, Drake fans, are celebrating. They're like, yo, he's backpedaling, he's this and that, and first of all, imagine asking for something for Christmas and you getting it before Christmas, you even make your Christmas list. And I looked at him like, oh, this is good. Ross is kind of like softening up and warming up until I start hearing what he was saying. And I actually changed my mind. I changed my mind, Chad. And I'm going to walk you through this a bit because I did listen to this, and I know if it's your first time, I'm sorry. I'm chopping it up a bit. I changed my mind on wanting Drake to get back cool with Ross. And it's not that I don't want him to get back cool, but not under these circumstances. Let me explain to you. I don't like what Ross just said. Because what Ross is just saying, again, I'm reading between the lines, but it bleeds of entitlement. It's like, yeah, when we was hot, we showed mad love. It's like almost like these guys are trying to punish Drake for like not giving them what they want, whether it's a song or a feature. Like he's some like do boy, like, yo, nigga, like, yo, it's time for you to, pay the piper. Like, yo, whoa, hold on now. What more do you want him to give? The guy you actually, y'all all supported during the battle never gave you nothing. What more do you want from a nigga? So when I thought, he was going to address this, and by the way, this is the most direct he's ever addressed this Drake situation. I thought it was not going to be filled with this still pompous, like, yeah, you know what I mean? You got to have respect. I'm not saying he should apologize to Drake, even though I think he went further than Drake in any type of disrespect, but whatever, Drake threw his shots too. I'm kind of looking at him like, yo, it feels like you're still trying to little homie the guy. I think you should probably have realized in the last 2 years, maybe at some point back in the day when Drake needed the street cosign and maybe whatever stories you're about to tell, yeah, you guys did assist Drake, but he doesn't owe you a lifelong, like, all right, here's songs and here's verses and I'm still your little homie. At some point, the little homie becomes the big homie. It goes by the market. And that's what I didn't like about it, because I thought if he was going to discuss a problem with Drake, it was going to be a problem rooted in, I know they're not friends, but a problem rooted in some type of respect, a problem rooted in some type of, hey, listen, I did this for you. This just feels like the guys who may have fell off the wagon looking at the guy who's still on the wagon saying, yo, bro, why you not helping us out? That's not what hip hop is. But I could be listening to this wrong, and everybody know I love Ross. But tell me how else could I interpret what he's saying when he says hip hop has always been about when we were hot, we showed love. It's almost insinuating that Drake has been hot and on top of the world for definitely for a decade, but approaching 2 decades. It's almost like he's saying you're not showing love anymore, and that's where I kind of back up, because I'm like, are you niggas think y'all extorting a nigga? What's going on? Anyway, check this out.
When French was on fire, he showed it.
Let's go back to it.
Real niggas just want to see real niggas shine together.
Okay.
Real niggas come up together. You understand? When I was
Now, this also sounds, I know I'm pausing a lot here. And thank you for the donation I'm about to read in a second. This also sounds like, you ever have some old friends who every time they talk about you, they'd be like, yo, y'all don't know what happened to that nigga, man. Like, you look around him, all he got is new niggas around him. And their disdain about you is kind of rooted and stems from you having other friends or maybe not being as cool with them anymore. Yeah, like, for example, I would imagine maybe he'd be a little bit heated. Like, he'd be like, yo, you used to hang with us, Drake, or you used to want to be around us. Now you want to be around Lil Yachty and Yeet. Yeah, maybe that's the thing. I don't know. But I carefully, and maybe I overanalyzed, but it is Iceman season, so we're overanalyzing everything. This was kind of like a weird kind of acknowledgement or message to Drake. I don't know what to make of it.
me being a boss, you gotta understand. This French Montana right here, this is my brother. Drake, if you listening to this, homie, listen to me. My nigga, shine. I don't wanna see you lose. No real nigga wanna see you lose. That ain't what niggas about. This culture, this game, this rap shit, this ain't what it's about. I don't wanna see you lose. Real niggas just wanna see real niggas shine together. Real niggas come up together. You understand? When I was the #1 nigga in the rap game, I showed niggas love. When French was on fire, he showed niggas love. When
French
other
called me.
niggas
Hold
get
on
they
now.
turn.
We still on fire.
Call it.
Don't get it fucked up. I said it tonight. I said something tonight, and it touched me because I said it.
Yeah.
I said, damn, I signed a 6-album contract for a $30,000 advance. I flew in on a $50 million jet. We never complained. We never cried.
Never.
We hustled our way out of any situation we
1
was
million
in.
percent.
You understand?
1 million percent.
Nigga don't hate on no nigga. And when I said that on stage, my nigga, I let DJ Nasty call that shit out. Whatever we gonna do, DJ Nasty, you let me know. Okay, we doing Aston Martin minus the Drake vocals. And when I said that, my nigga, wherever homie at, look, Montana still fuck with you on 1,000.
Yeah, shout out to Drake.
Listen to me.
It's all love.
Montana done came to me and nigga, we done had conversations. Nigga, listen, we ain't on no I'm not on no disrespectful shit. Montana.
It was right around here I realized, I said, maybe I was wrong. I don't think Drake needs to be cool with these guys. And it's not that I want Drake to be cool with him, but you gotta treat somebody, when someone pulls up to have mediation with you, it can't look like it's out of desperation. It gotta look like we're kind of meeting at almost even, where it's like, you know, nigga, I don't need you, you don't need me. And I'm not getting that from this conversation. I'm not getting it. It's kind of seeming like, yo, Drake, we never really hated you. This sound like Ebro and Joe Budden and them recently. Like, everybody like, wait, none of y'all hated him? Wait, what the hell? This sound like my stall him out method worked. Even, Ross was saying all type of crazy shit about Drake. He was going on rants, like, he's funny though, right? Now, I never thought it was on some shit where, by the way, and also, remember the whole thing that happened in Toronto? Drake is kind of liking those pictures. Now Ross is kind of like, oh no, it's not that serious. Now, granted, you might look at me and be like, yo, well, you said you wanted this. I do. But I want some sincerity. I want sincerity. And I don't want it to come across as, yo, you can't pull up to the table with any look of desperation. And I hate to say it. If we're talking about, this is y'all moment, and Drake has dominated y'all moment without being there, even reacting to what y'all did. Do you get what I'm saying, chat? That's the thing.
A real nigga. Ricky Rose, you know me. You know I love to be disrespectful. That's what I am. But my nigga, listen, it's deeper than rap. It's deeper than rap, homie. This the first time I said this. Man, take a fuck with you the long way.
It also felt like you're pleading for Drake. It feels like Drake cut you off because you dissed him, and he cut off French Montana because you said that you were beefing with Drake because of French. So now you're coming back around, and you're the one who's speaking. Yo, you know French Montana rock with you, bro. Listen, chat, I'm only here reacting and interpreting. But let's go down the timeline of things. Rick Ross basically says, yo, F Drake. He comes out during the battle. Drake ain't solid. Da-da-da-da. When we kind of ask about the feud or when he drops Champagne Moments, which, by the way, he exclusively dropped to me. Thank you, Ross. I love you. He basically details a situation of Drake not being either a real friend or being a fake nigga by not giving or clearing a record which supposed to be his Splash Brother record for French Montana. Okay? Now, it felt like Rick Ross was actually going hard for French Montana's beef. Now, I want to give you a little bit of history on Rick Ross, okay? Ricky Rose always came off to me as a very loyal guy. Do y'all remember when Rick Ross got into it with Birdman? By the way, he still gets at Birdman. He got into it with Birdman, claiming he was picking up for Lil Wayne during that contract dispute. He said, yo, that's not how you be a boss. That's not how you treat your man. That's not how you be a boss. He got into it with Birdman over Wayne. Now we hear he gets into it with Drake over French. Now that seems like a loyal friend, but here's always the problem that happens with Rick Ross. The people you're getting into beefs over want to be friends with the person you're beefing with. Remember, this is why you don't get involved in people's situations and you don't get involved in toxic relationships. Because when 2 weeks later, when they're back cool and they're back friends, you're left on the outside, and the person who's not that cool with you, don't forget about what you said about them, right? We've seen Wayne, even though supposedly Wayne and Birdman still ain't the best, but they're cordial. We've seen Wayne and Birdman get cordial, and Rick Ross is still left out the paint where he still has to disrespect Birdman, and that still seems pretty tense. Separate and aside from that, let's talk about now Rick Ross speaking up for French against Drake. It appears, and we've seen in other interviews by French has said, yo, I love Drake. He's still sending a lot of support to Drake, while you're the person who's calling BBL Drizzy, made a diss song, this and third, and now it's gotten to the point where people want to clown you, and I think that's the reason why when he does the shows, he doesn't like just, because even if you didn't rock with somebody anymore, you just let their song play. He has to do the funny shit where it's like, yo, don't play the song, or don't play his verse, or he's like, y'all sing it. So here's the thing. French seems to want to be friends with Drake. You were beefing with Drake supposedly over French, but now you're on an interview literally saying to Drake, yo, Drake, you know this guy really like you, right? If anybody that Drake is going to listen to about if French likes him, it's not going to be you, Ross. Why? Because if I'm Drake, I got to be thinking like this. Damn, I thought French was my man. I gave him mad hits, right? I'm on Pop That with him. I'm on No Stylist. I gave him No Shopping. Yo, I've been really hooking my man up. This one song, for whatever reason, didn't go whatever way. Oh, don't tell me you're upset with me, but instead of coming to me like a real nigga, you go to Rick Ross and have Rick Ross start dissing me at the worst time in my career because I'm getting jumped by everybody. So my own friend who I've given a lot to, French, I've given a lot to, I've done mad verses. This is my guy. He's unhappy about one instance. And at that point, he links up with someone else, and it must be some, I don't want to call it pillow talk because it's two men, but some type of like behind my back talk that's going on that gasses Rick Ross up to come diss me in the moment that I needed my friends to be either stand down, stay silent, or at least be supportive of me. He pops out at the moment trying to egg and incite another man and the other 20 niggas to try to kick my back in and ruin my career. Come on. I could see where Drake. I'm trying to be fair on all sides here, people. I'm trying to be fair on all sides. Now, later, 2 years later, Drake is about to drop his first solo LP. Since that happened, and the thought is this: now you have to listen to Rick Ross, the guy who you probably thought was a mouthpiece for French, even though French says he doesn't feel like that. He's now telling you that you should get cool back with French. Why would you ever listen to Rick Ross? Right? But that's what's happening. Rick Ross is pleading to Drake, not even for friendship with himself, but he's saying, yo, this is your man's right here. This is your man's. Which tells me that Drake may have not been fucking with French like that since then. Why does it tell me that? Because if he was, it wouldn't need to be explained. It wouldn't need to be explained.
Homie, this is the first time I said this, man. Take a fuck with you the long way. You understand? Ain't no.
If that was already completely known, you wouldn't have to hear it from the guy who dissed you about him.
Funny shit on this side. It's 1,000. And when I play records, I perform records, my nigga. Ricky Rose was the biggest nigga in the game, nigga. I had motherfucking John Legend and all the biggest niggas in the game on speed dial, ready to do albums with me. We collaborated with the niggas all my homies wanted to. We never said niggas weren't qualified. But homie, what we was saying was at the time, niggas was speaking for you. Niggas have the biggest niggas in the game on speed dial. But the niggas in the studio, Montana, like...
Okay, even if I want to go with Ross's theory of, let's go with this fake friend. I'm going to call it fake friends because these guys are acting like, they all hustled on Western Road together, right? Like, no, you guys are, comrades in the music game. You're friendly, but you guys are not real friends. But fine, let me go with this theory that y'all are friends. That is having a dispute over a song or whatever dispute y'all may have had with Drake. That is not why Drake doesn't or probably feels whatever way he does about you. And I don't know how he feels about French, but about Ross. Ross, you could have chosen any time to address that issue. Even if it did turn public. Anytime. You picked the time when he's getting his back kicked in by 5 other niggas simultaneously. That's the issue. That doesn't seem like someone who is in sound character saying, you know what? I have an issue. Let me present it. Remember, I always say this when it comes to media people because, they'll wait till somebody is like kind of down and everybody's like, all the vultures are starting to circle and they're like, now's the time to get him. I'm like, nah, I'll catch him on a one-on-one. I don't want to go fight him when he's already on the ground like this. Like, come on, like you won't get no points for that. And that's where I think if I'm Drake in terms of reconciliation, why would I want to reconcile with you if you tried at the moment you thought I was the closest to being taken out? That's the first time you showed your hate. It's the first time you showed that we weren't cool. In any other time where you knew that I'm Teflon, yeah, you fire a couple shots at me, I'm still going to be Drake. You never pop out. You were too scared to pull the gun. But now, as soon as you say, oh, he's almost out, let me add on. Let's get him out of here. That seems more cynical. And, yeah, I don't know if you could, it feels more snake-like. I don't feel like you could really, you can't go back to being the same with those people. Because they have hidden intentions. You're winning. They're fake smiling with you. They act like they like the fact that you're on top, but they probably secretly despise the fact that when they ask you for a feature. And by the way, I've heard this. I'm not going to lie. These artists will stay unnamed. But I've kind of heard certain artists where, I feel like the relationship, they feel like that they're begging Drake. Which, kind of y'all are. Right? Like, he's not begging y'all for a feature. Y'all begging him. And it's not because of, obviously, talent is a part of it. But I think, like when I've heard artists talk about it, that this is like behind the scenes convo, right? I've heard artists talk about, like, Drake. It's always that they look at it like, yo, when Drake needs us, we're there. When we need him, I get it, he's the biggest artist, but he doesn't just do the same thing. We're jumping through hoops, we're doing this, da-da-da-da. And they kind of have some resentment for that. This is a little bit of resentment for how that is. Like, during the battle, like, again, so I would never say who, but like, certain people like, yo, yeah, certain people who try to do songs with him, it's not the easiest process. Like, Drake's people is not... It's not the easiest thing, as opposed to the opposite. But again, Drake's the biggest artist in the world. So I do think there's some resentment that kind of like, like everybody's getting a little bit resentful. And they're probably like, man, if we could knock this fuck nigga off top, not that we would do it, but maybe he needs to be brought down a couple levels to humble his ass. Right? Like, shit, I told y'all. I heard not that he's one of these people, but I heard the main issue with remember Roddy Ricch came out strongly and supported Kendrick. Now, obviously he's from Compton and that's a West Coast thing. I hear, that's one of the moments where Roddy Ricch most likely popped out, not only because of Kendrick, but because him and Drake, their situation got a little weird. How is it weird? Drake did a song with Roddy Ricch. The song got leaked. Roddy Ricch still wanted to release it. Drake said, no, let's do another song at some point. But I don't like having songs leaked and then putting it out. Roddy probably felt away. Hey, this you got to imagine that song could have been, remember, this is coming after The Box. This is like his sophomore album, which a lot of people like crazy. I could imagine he's like, damn, I need this fucking song. I need this record. Drake is kind of like, not really giving it to him. He might be like, man, this nigga probably feeling himself. So I'm just trying to explain a little bit of like how these artists have thought about Drake. And that's why I think you're seeing Ross talk about Drake like this.
Call my nigga Drake. Cool. Call me. Before I knew him. Just on some 1000 shit. I would love to throw in right now. That's when you had the big nose for wing.
And don't get me wrong. So from what I've heard, it's not like Drake has if it's leaked, no policy. I think Drake kind of offered, or I think Drake was down to do another record. He didn't want to put out that record, right? Because he's probably thinking, it's not going to be a surprise anymore. It's not going to be whatever. So it's not that he's opposed to leak records. We've seen him kind of chef up a leak record in a different way. But he wants to just do another record. And I think what that meant probably to Roddy is like, oh, you're just saying no. Why? He got to turn in an album. So now, when y'all going to do the record for him to turn in an album? It's so again, some people they'll feel a way to like, damn, I'm on this guy's timing. I need it for my album. But shit, if he ever called me to do something, I'm going to do it same day.
Ain't going to go there.
Shout out to Drake, man. Let's not. You was doing good.
Shout out.
You was doing good.
Almost ended on a positive note.
You was doing good.
This the first time I'm going to say this.
You was doing good.
This the first time I'm going to say this. Shout out to homie.
Yeah, shout out to Drake, man.
Yeah,
We're
shout
with
out to
you,
homie.
man.
Montana riding for you, nigga.
Yeah.
You got real niggas on your side riding for you. And when you got real niggas riding for you, my niggas gonna respect it. I'm not gonna disrespect it.
Renaissance of a Boss, the new Rick Ross book.
The new Rick Ross book.
Set in stone.
What I'm talking about right here is shit niggas be on.
Yeah.
We ain't talking about that. Montana crib really 30 million, nigga.
Yeah.
You go out that nigga backyard, you really see the beach, nigga. You really look far enough, and if you on shrooms, you gonna think you see Bahamas.
Yeah, we love Ross, man. Hey, my last thoughts on this is that I want Rick Ross and Drake to reconcile at some point, but I want it to be on a level of number one, respect, but also not desperation, and not, oh, you owe me this or I owe you this. At the end of the day, I think Drake, it's evidenced by the verses. He's given you guys a lot. You guys gave him too. And these collabs are mutual handshakes for the most part. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I went to Drake's last couple shows and tours. Drake don't perform Stay Scheming. That's not in his set list. That's your biggest song that you're going to perform. He's not performing Aston Martin music. That's the biggest song that's not on his set list. These songs that we love from these guys, it's not on his set list. I've never gone to a Drake show and he's like, and he performs Going Bad, which is one of Meek's biggest songs. I've never heard it. This is on your set list. So this idea of like, maybe Drake was younger and your association with them and you helping him or you giving him a record or you putting him on a record, he paid it back to you tenfold. He paid it back to you tenfold, And, the only part I didn't like about this, it feels like there's an entitlement that he still needs to throw people a bone. Ross, you're an amazing artist. You don't need Drake. You don't need Drake. But you might think you need Drake to be in that number one spot because that's an addicting feeling. Because Ross has dropped multiple projects, which are, people have talked really highly about them, but they haven't had that mainstream type of either record or type of like appeal. French, I think he's a king of the remixes in certain senses, but it do hit different when there's a no stylist that's percolating. A no stylist is one of them joints. No shopping is one of them joints. I get it. But, 2 years after whatever situations happen, it's still looking really crazy, and it's looking a little stupid if you ask me, because we can't figure out why y'all fell out. And it feels like y'all are just describing entitlement and music that y'all felt y'all were owed, and I don't think nobody's going to back you on that. I think in 2 years, 2 years ago, Drake was painted to be the selfish asshole, this, really weird, creepy guy that had all these character faults. And in the 2 years that came afterwards, everybody's like, they're backtracking and retracting everything they said. What happened to all the other stuff that he was? He's not that anymore? So you're telling me the biggest problem here with Drake and Ross is that he wasn't, quote, unquote, showing love? And showing love probably means giving you whatever song you wanted? Right? Wait, that's why, it'd be like, we ride at dawn. So that's why we went to war? Because homeboy won't share his 101 GOAT status light with you when you want on your album? Oh, don't tell me y'all have the same gripe because he stopped giving Khaled records, right? Remember Khaled was Switzerland. He stayed quiet. The whole beef stayed quiet. Pops out with signs. I got 2 Drake songs. Brother, it doesn't work like that. You know what? Let me take an album off from you, Khaled. It's okay. Have you seen Khaled since? It would bother me and it would make me think differently of the industry if I seen everybody who I thought I was cool with for a decade, the first moment I said no, all switch up on me. It would bother me. And I don't know how you reconcile that. But it would bother me. Chat, welcome, and thank you for joining me in the morning. We got Big Ack in the morning. Late night, early mornings, man. We got to do something. It is acceptable if you guys want to restart the streak. I think it's probably appropriate. We want to be honest and have some integrity here. So I think we're on the 3rd day before. We could say that this is day 1 again. It's fine. I do want to read some donations. I seen a donation I wanted to read. This is from Lady A for Real 601. Thank you for the donation. She said, I'm happy I caught you live in real time. I watch all your content on every one of your channels. I follow Rainwater and most of you guys. By the way, great interview with Vlad. By the way, Lady A, you're one of the reasons I stream now because I realize I have people who listen to me from all over the globe. Like right now, it's around lunchtime in the UK. It's a little bit early on the West Coast, but it's lunchtime in the UK. So if I stream at different points in the day, I'm probably targeting different audiences, right? Like, yeah, the West Coast crew might be sleeping, but at least you got, the Eastern Hemisphere, right? Okay. Thank you for that donation, by the way. And it says, and Lady A says, facts. I see where you're coming from, Ak. Why are you explaining it? You know, sometimes you got to make sure that happens. Yardley, HBK says, Sean Gathright is my cousin, or Sean Gathright mother is my cousin. I spoke to her yesterday. She's holding her head up. Free Sean. Sir, I'm going to be honest with you. I do thank you for your donation. I can't agree with you on the sentiment. Free Sean. I think Sean is a very evil person. You know, he took a life, whether it was a rap beef or not. We're going to get into it next, actually. He took a life of someone in cold blood. He was very brazen. He was the first one that, you know, the detectives described it. You know, he wasn't scared of what he was doing. He wasn't having second thoughts. He ran down on the car. He was front, face, and center with his gun, with the shell catcher. They organized at his house. And I know you say you're cool with his mother. I don't want to attack his mother here, but and that's where my Hassan Campbell problem comes in. I'm going to get to Hassan Campbell. Remind me. I was talking about, I'm a big thing on parents. That's why I'm like single. I guess I am kind of a product of a single parent household because my dad left. But there's nothing wrong with single parent households. I like what parents are parents. You gotta have oversight of your kids. And obviously, two is better than one in terms of being able to monitor what your kids are doing. But if someone lives under your house, I don't care even if they're over 18, if they live under your roof, and that's how I'm going to treat parenting. If my kids is living with me, it is my job to know, are they on drugs? Are they killing people at night? Are they selling drugs? Are they robbing the local liquor store with their friends? It's my job to know this. So I have to ask, what about these parents? So the Sean Gathright dude, he's the youngest in the mix. He's the youngest in the mix of the people who got charged for this murder. They all went to his house to pick up the guns from the safe that was in his house that his parents knew about. They served the search warrant on his parents when they found and they took pictures of the gun safe. So I get it. I know, listen, I'm not here trying to, laugh at that mother's pain. I know she's going through some pain because her son is going to jail inevitably for life, or it's not going to be a death sentence thing. It's a life imprisonment. But the parent has to take some accountability. You lived an amazing lifestyle. If you see Sean Gathright's house, it looks amazing. I know it's Florida, but it looks like a really good house. Look like we don't know of him to have any siblings. We saw a video or a picture with him like meeting Faye Sensor.